Good evening, everybody. So, today was inner dance session 13, 14, 15. I don't know, I have to look it up. But it was a very unexpected session. Honestly, I haven't done an inner dance session in quite a while. And the only reason why I did it is because I got a gift voucher and a friend of mine was also attending, so I was like, oh, I want to share that experience with her. So it was so nice to be back in the group. Like, you really feel the community aspect. You really feel that there is a sense of everybody's collective intention, collective shared value for this work, for being here, doing this together. And there's a sincerity, and I love that. I truly love that. Like, with especially with the facilitator, our trainer Serena, she's got like this very soul mama tribe-like quality that I really like. She's young, but she's like so wise and full of wisdom and full of knowledge, and she's very also like relatable and so grounding also, and so sincere and so hardworking. It's it's very nice to be in that setting that she's creating. I truly love it. So the session itself, it was like, I must say, it was quite unlike anything I've experienced before. So before my sessions, what I always do now, is I try to get myself into a non-dual state, into a neutral state. So I've been doing, like, before this, I've always used the invitation from Muji, which is like a guided step-by-step inquiry meditation where you go to a place of neutrality. But now I've switched over to this new thing, like a non-duality by the House of Solomon. Maybe that's wrong. If you're interested, you can ask and I'll send you a link. But it's like my friend recommended it to me, and I've been using it for some time now, and it's so simple. I really love how subtle it is, and it really, like, just by following the instructions of that meditation, there's like a relaxation, a releasing of the tightening up that happens. And it's just like when you're fixed and fixated on something, it just like releases and there's openness. So yeah, I don't know if this is fact, but I think I read somewhere that by going into the non-dual state, by stepping out of the way, you can allow the energy to work with the body and the emotions and the whatever is there, to work without you interfering, without you resisting, without you having an intention, a kind of fixation on anything. It's just like whatever needs to happen will happen. And yeah, it's like a surrendered state. In a way, it feels like it's just like something that comes alive, and it has its own rhythm, its own cycle of life. Just goes by its own cycle and its own will. It's very interesting to have that, especially in the beginning, to see how everything's just happening. Breathing happens by itself. Energetic movements happen by themselves. Kriyas happen by themselves. Mudras happen by themselves. Sounds happen by themselves. All of that. So the session started off, and I went to the bathroom, and I came back, and I saw that my phone was like, the sound wasn't on. So I opened the screen, and it was already playing. So I laid on the mat, and I just like relaxing. It's like falling into this depthness. And I love the music of inner dance so much, because there's such a profound tranquility that you get to experience by just sinking into the waves of the music, the rhythm of the music, the vibrations of the music. It's like so easy to, for me at least, to just like drop in, and you're whatever flavor the music changes to, you're always on this ground level. You're always marinating there, and you never like get out of it. So I really love that. Like, again, everything I'm saying is my own subjective experience, right? So it's relative to me. So the moment the session started, I saw like beings one by one appear next to me in the room. And my mind was like, oh shit, what's gonna happen now? So they all like stood like around me, and there was like a ritual, a cleansing ritual that was started. So I felt like something was being done like inside of me. In the beginning, it was very like slow, and I was just like lying there, but then I would start to do these very spontaneous asanas, like doing really like stretches and having like trying to stretch a certain part out. And it was so funny because I was not doing it. I was witnessing how the body was doing it, and my mind was observing and thinking like, oh, this is the limitation of this stretching position. So I guess I can use some more hatha yoga routines and really focus on stretching and elongating. It really like, I really felt it in this session, how it like how the tensions or the lack of suppleness in my body didn't allow my body to be completely free, even though there was a lot of freedom. So as the session progressed, I was making a lot of sounds. I was making a lot of these kind of movements, and then the first thing started to come, and it was very peculiar. So in the beginning, wow, I'm blanking right now. This has never happened before. Usually I know this so well, but this session, everything was so ephemeral. Is that the right word? It's like, I couldn't grasp it. I couldn't like latch onto it. It was just like fleeting by, streaming through my fingers. Okay. So in the beginning, there was like this ritual happening, this cleansing ritual, and I don't remember exactly what happened. Wow, that's new for me. Okay. In the middle, I remember that part very well. There was a moment where the energy was just climbing up my energy centers, and I would see it lightening up. I would also connect with a person that I know, and I would all of a sudden, like, light language started to come out, and like my hands were like drawing all these kinds of geometrical signs, and it was like sending these signs into her body. So I was seeing her, and I was like sending these signs, and there was like, it was going into her, and there was like all kinds of work happening, but I didn't know what was happening. I just knew that something was happening, and I was aware of this process unfolding. It was very like, yeah, like, what is this? Oh, this hasn't happened, because it was so clearly, it hasn't happened before. So after doing that for a while, like, there were like at certain points I felt myself like being in her body, and like things were shifting especially in the heart, and yeah, like that lasted for a certain while, and then there was like this recognition about a connection, about, yeah, true love, like a soulmate relationship kind of thing, like a soulmate connection. Now I don't know if this is true, but I'm just sharing what appeared, right? And it felt so right, so genuine, so real. And then at certain points, like, I felt how my body was being prepared. It was like the beings around me were like putting up armor for me to get ready for my role, because the word destiny came up, like destiny, destiny, destiny. And there was this sense like that to step into that destiny, a certain kind of responsibility is needed, a certain kind of willingness to be in that position is needed, or the resistance towards it has to drop away. So it was very interesting for me to feel that, because at some point I felt like in my hand there was like this globe of light, and there was like in my other hand like this sword of light. I was standing there and didn't know what to do, but it was just there, and I felt that something in me wasn't ready to take on the warrior role. I don't know if it's spiritual warrior, but the crusader, it's hard to put into words, but there was this sense of like, I just don't feel strong enough right now to fight, or to let's say to step into that power. Yeah, even though the power was there, even though it was all available, it was like, I guess it was a reflection of my own belief about myself that I couldn't do it. So at a certain point, like my body was just kneeling, and I was just like speaking Elohim, 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 singing it a little bit, and like there were like these devotional words coming out, like my life is an expression of my love to God. Yeah, it's like, it's so innate, like this whole notion of being a servant of God, being devoted to God, loving God. Honestly, for me, it's like just peeling. It's like layers that are being peeled open, and I'm like discovering that I didn't know this about myself, that this was all inherently there. I saw myself like doing very practical things. You know, it's like law of attraction. Like all of a sudden I would see like this imagery of me going through a certain kind of interaction. So it was like me following a certain training, and I would really feel like I was doing it energetically. I would see it, I would feel it, and then it was like, whoa, this energetic potential is here, it's created. I just have to let it happen, let it manifest, and it will happen in time. At a certain time and space it will occur, but it's already here, energetically created. That's very interesting, like to feel that, like, oh, it's already done. I've lived it here, because it feels like you lived it. And then at a certain point, while I was like, after like praising God and worshiping God, there was like this moment where my body started to say these words, Sat, Chit, Ananda. And every time I would say them, they were said a couple of times. Like there would be like this vibration of like, oh, wow, wow, this enjoyment vibration. And after saying it three times or so, or 4 times, my whole body would start to feel like bliss. And it's like all of a sudden the boundary of my body, it felt like it was all like bubbles, like small bubbles that were like dissolving and popping, like. And when everything was popped, there was just like this expansion of this enjoyment, this complete enjoyment in beingness, in it was really beautiful. Honestly, after that, there was just like lying there basking. The music was taking me so deep. Sure, images would come down. I would feel gravity, and I remember at some point there was there was so much happening, and the images that I was getting through, it was like the gravity inside of me was like going like. So there was like so much being activated. Yeah, and the word destiny kept coming up over and over and over and over again. So yeah, like this is so new for me to like normally I recall it so easily, but now it's like it keeps slipping. Like I keep trying to remember it and keep slipping. So the first part was cleansing ritual by the beings, and getting this suit, getting ready to take my role as a spiritual warrior or as a leader or something. But I didn't feel ready for it. And then there was this part where there was a connection with my soulmate or with this woman, and there was like recognition of true love, and just like sending all these like patterns, like shapes, very mathematically drawn like shapes to her, and working with her body. And then there was just dissolving, letting go. It was so subtle, the whole session. It was just dropping in deeper and deeper and deeper. Towards the end, honestly, I don't remember that much. It was so light. Yeah. But for me, like my main takeaway from all this is focus more on yoga, because I'm still going to the gym, and I noticed that after the gym there's a lot of this tightness. There's a I feel like a certain kind of tension there, and I just wonder what would it be like if I just committed to a yoga practice for some time, and focus on elongating, of breathing deeper, like fully relaxing. I really wonder how that would like affect my sessions and my body, my feeling in the body, my overall well-being. Yeah. At a certain point, I remember this all of a sudden, like I was placing my hands on the floor, and I was feeling the earth, presence of earth, of the energy of earth, and I would feel like I would see all these kind of images very fast of nature, of the energy of nature, of the qualities of nature. So at a certain point, there were like these moments where my body would like just go into this dance, and just like dancing and going up and going down, and like from one movement to another movement, there was such freedom, such aliveness, and it was just exquisite to feel this freedom of dance happening within you. So after the session stopped, like it's been a while since I've done a session that was during the day. Usually it was during the night, and then you go to bed. And then this was like midday, so we were done, and then everybody shared their story, everybody shared their experiences. They talked about how there was a lot of feminine energy in the space, in the session. And yeah, after the sharing, my friend who joined for a session, she didn't really feel it. So she told me that she was like feeling a bit moody, and she wasn't open to receive it. And yeah, I haven't talked to her about it yet, but everybody has their own process, so I respect her process. I respect whatever she's going through. I told her that If she wants to talk, I'm here for her. And if not, that's also okay. So then I was like in this very settled space inside of myself. This radiance, this joy. And I was just going with the flow. I was just like, I also realized like certain patterns in my life that have kept on going and going and looping. They were like unnecessary. At a certain time and space, they were like patterns of living, of surviving, of behaving, which were, let's say, which I could use then. But now, where I am now, this whole situation where I am now, it's like those patterns, I don't need them anymore. And it was like that feeling, that thought of like, I don't need to do this anymore. I don't need to do that anymore. So, in the afternoon, I spent some time with my friends, 2 friends, very different friends. So one friend, he's like a Muslim, and he has his own journey of going inside, and he meditated on like listening to prayer, worshiping God. And then my other friend, he went through all kinds of, CAP experiences and non-duality experiences. And yeah, so they met together and they have like these different experiences, right? And after like talking and coming together and, tasting the ground, they were just like talking, and they were both stretching their like the boundary of the edge of what they knew, of what they could talk about. So I could sense like, whoa, he's coming from there, and he's in a way challenging what he's talking about. And then it goes like this, like that, like this, like this. And I was just watching, observing it all. And it was like so pleasant to not interfere and to just be there and watch and observe. And sometimes they asked me something, a question, and I smiled, I didn't say anything. And then they went on, and they kept on going. So for me, it was like, wow, this is like so interesting. I can see how much energy is going into it, into that, trying to get to a conclusion, trying to find out who's right, trying to find out, well, not who's right, but more of what is the edge of my understanding. Because in a way, by pushing each other like that, you feel like, okay, this is where my knowledge or my understanding like is limited. So it's like there's no point of talking in that dimension or speculate in that dimension, because it's about your own experience, talking from experience. So after like looking at them and seeing them go through that, I just felt like this whole day was such a flow, such a beautiful flow, and it was just all unfolding by itself. Like my sister called me, she talked about her life. I took a walk into memory lane and saw people that I knew. I just felt so in tune with life, so in alignment. And I'm just so happy to be in that flow, to just feel the current, the flow of life, like literally like water just streaming. And it's not that I'm overly happy or super happy, but I feel this sense of I guess contentment, or even beyond contentment. It's this feeling of relaxation with whatever's happening. I'm so grateful for that feeling. Yeah. Yeah. When things are just unfolding by themselves and you don't do anything, but things happen either way. Yeah. I'll definitely do more sessions during the day. What was also funny was like I had so many different plans for this day. Like there was an opportunity to go to a constellation session. There was there's a client of mine that I was supposed to meet up for coaching, but he got migraines, so we couldn't meet up. So yeah, it was very interesting to see how it all just like fell apart, fell into a hole, and how the day structured itself, how everything unfolded. There was this point when I was with my friends, and my friend, he was like, he put his hand on my heart, and he started to feel, and then he said a prayer. And it's a funny thing, because I really felt like this lightness, this openness, this freedom. And then the moment he put the hand on there was like a shift that was happening. I felt like this, like an inner knowing, like I am. And then all of a sudden, in that spaciousness, in that openness, like some energy was like contracting, or like some energy like started to appear. And like my mind was bothered by it. It was like, what is this? What did you do? What did you do, man? Because I saw he had good intentions. He really wanted to. Yeah, he was so sincere. He just like he wants to share what he knows, what he believes in, and it was so nice. And I was like, oh man, like 2 days ago at an energetic session, something was just removed, and somebody just put something back in. What is this? So my friend was like, yeah, you can always go back, or maybe you can do it yourself, or maybe I can do it. I was like, can I do it myself? So I tuned into my heart, and I was like, and like some movement started in my hand, and I felt like my hand going deeper and deeper and deeper into like this space here, and I felt like something was being plucked, and it was like being taken out of my body, and then it was like released, and I was like washed my hands off and done. And all of a sudden the lightness was back, the openness was back, and I was like, I don't know how that happened, but he suggested it. I took the suggestion, I asked it to my heart space, and then the whole movement, the whole thing started. So that was like, whoa, I guess this is a thing that's possible. Also, like, I've never done light language, or light language never was so clear and so uninterrupted or impeded as today. Like, I was so surprised by how clearly it was coming through. So yeah, very, very cool experience for me. Yeah. Thank you all for watching. I wish you good night, and may you enjoy happiness and the root of happiness.